Hey everyone, I just got back from a trip to California and Nevada, so let's get started. So first off, we flew for about 8 hours from Moncton to San Francisco. And it was a long day, so the next morning we got up and explored the city. Our first stop was Twin Peaks in San Francisco. We had to go all the way up at the top of the mountain, the hill, to see this beautiful view of San Francisco. I definitely recommend. It's breathtaking. It's so beautiful. After this, we made our way to the Painted Ladies. You can see the Painted Ladies in a lot of famous TV shows. For example, Full House is one of the biggest ones. We walked around the city and explored a little bit of everything. It's a pretty cool place. There's a lot of street art, graffiti. I love that kind of thing. We then quickly drove through ChinaTown. Super interesting. I love seeing different cultures and learning all about it, so this is a must for you if you like those type of things as well. Then we made it to the Golden Gate Bridge, the main attraction. We spent a lot of time here. It was very beautiful, breathtaking views. I would not miss this for anything. We then spent the rest of our day just hanging out, drinking some coffee, just walking around. And then we made our way to Santa Barbara. The drive from San Francisco to Santa Barbara lasted about 6 hours. It went by pretty fast though because the scenery was so nice and we saw a lot of things. We saw garlic fields. That was a first for me. The smell was so strong when you passed through, but very worth it. And then we stopped at Pismo Beach. I would definitely stay there for a night. I'm for sure going to come back here. We then continued our road trip and we made our way to Santa Barbara. We arrived pretty late in the afternoon, so we just hung out, enjoyed the city, and we went to bed pretty early that night because we were quite tired after all our driving. The next morning, we drove around and we were looking at the mountains and the big houses. You really feel like a superstar. I can see why a lot of famous people decide to live here. Our next stop was Los Angeles, so we decided to take the Pacific Coast Highway to get there. What a great decision that was. I think that was the most beautiful drive I've ever taken in my entire life. You drive along the beautiful blue waters for miles. And we had to stop in Malibu because we drove right in front of it. After this, we drove to Venice Beach. We mostly spent the rest of our day here as the sun was shining on the beach, enjoying the sand, enjoying the boardwalk. I definitely miss this right now. To finish off our day, we decided to go for a drive in Beverly Hills. The traffic to get there was crazy and to get back to the hotel too. If you're ever in this area and you plan on driving a lot, I suggest to rent a little scooter or an electric bicycle to get around way faster. But we hung around Beverly Hills for a while and then decided to call it a day and head back to the hotel in LA. The next morning, we decided to go to the Griffith Observatory in Hollywood. The atmosphere here was so relaxing and you could just hear the birds singing, look at the Hollywood sign. It was an overall great experience. But watch out for rattlesnakes if you go hiking, as there were signs to be cautious. Later on that afternoon, my dad had the idea that he wanted to go get a tattoo from High Voltage Tattoo in Los Angeles. In other words, LA Ink. We watched him get his tattoo and it took about 3 hours. Once his tattoo was over, we went for supper on Hollywood Boulevard at Hard Rock Cafe and called it a night. After being in Los Angeles for 2 days, we decided to head over to Las Vegas. We even took the old Route 66 for a little while. Then we drove through the desert for about 4 hours until we got to Las Vegas. We've even seen some snow. We have enough of that in Canada. I did not want to see more. We arrived in Vegas pretty late that night, so we just walked around enjoying the lights and everything that Vegas has to offer. We spent the whole next day walking around on the Strip. We made a wish at the Bellagio fountains. We found Las Vegas was a little bit busy compared to the rest of the places we had seen during our trip, but we found it nice to see a little bit of everything. They even had trucks with moving ads on them. Later that night, we watched the Volcano show at the Mirage Hotel. And also the Bellagio fountain show. This was our last event of our whole trip. Finally, we got back on our plane the next morning and flew straight back to Canada. Overall, I loved my experience and I would definitely do it again with no doubt. If any of you are thinking about doing this trip, I would say go for it.